Alright guys, welcome to another episode of whatever it is, and what's up Mepstagram? Save the eyes. Oh, this morning when I woke up, I looked at self in the mirror and I thought, wow, I'm bigger and stronger than Mike Menser's arm. But you know what Mike Menser has? He's got two of those, and he's got legs and a torso. So that's not very impressive after all. And as a wise man once said, a big sack of potato that gets bigger is a bigger sack of potatoes. I feel rage. Oh man. I feel like I had to get to level 4, maybe 5 today. On the rage, because I'm still not there. I'm still trying to figure out the arch. The arch was not supposed to be this difficult to install, but apparently there's all kinds of weird things going on with the system. So if you're mounted on the system, we won't get into the jokes about mounting, but if you're stuck on Magic Mountain, apparently you can't do things to the system, so you have to unmount and then do things to the system and then remount. And so it's crazy. Like these people making the systems like Arch, they got screaming monkeys in their brain, as I said before. And I mean, this should not be that difficult, right? I get it. Everybody wants to get Arch because they can pick and choose which things are installed and uninstalled on their system, but then these people, do they really think that anybody would want to have a system that doesn't have Pac-Man? I mean, if Pac-Man is the resource that allows you to get all the other resources, why wouldn't that be installed by default? That makes no sense at all. And in the world that we live in today, because unfortunately when you install these Arch operating system, Linux Arch, nobody's going to install that without Wi-Fi, knowing that without Wi-Fi you can't install any of the things that you want installed on your system. So like it's basically the system and these copy and paste engineers and copy and paste entrepreneurs checkmating the person that's trying to install the system. So it's just like the job field, right? You can't get a job unless you've got experience, but you can't get experience unless you've got something else. So then, like, unless you work the job, right? So unless you're working the job, you can't get the experience to get like, would you say that? Oh my gosh, I'm having a moment, a senior moment like Biden. So you can't get the job unless you have the experience, but you can't work the job without the experience. There you go. Now it makes kind of sense. And so there we are today in 2025 with these copy and paste entrepreneurs and copy and paste engineers building systems that make absolutely no sense. So if you don't have Pac-Man installed, you can't get the systems that you want installed on your system. But then this operating system does not have Pac-Man. I mean, like, who came up with this? Anyway, so there we have it, guys. I'm still struggling to get Arch installed, and I think that, we're probably going to just go with, as I said before, Archcraft or Endeavor. They seem to be perfectly fine to do the majority of things that I want to do. They may be more bloated, but perhaps it's easier to uninstall things from Endeavor or Archcraft than it is to install Arch on its own. So yeah, there you go. If there's limits set by stupidity, you can just go the other way. I will just figure out what systems are bloat on Archcraft or on Endeavor, and I will work my way back from there, because I think most of the things are fine, and it's pretty much Arch based, but based, as somebody says, but unlike Windows, it will allow me to remove all the things that I don't like. unlike Windows, it doesn't come with, because that's where they don't tell you about Windows operating system. They say, they say how deepseek is so dangerous. Deepseek and a bunch of other things made, like AIs made by other countries. Oh, they're so dangerous. They're literally trained on the same exact data. How are they more dangerous? It makes no sense. But anyway, so Windows comes pre-installed with Cortana and the other one, what was it? Copilot and Moo. Nobody talks about Moo. You hear about this thing that there's this operating system, there's this AI that's running on the newest computers called Moo. Nobody talks about Moo. Nobody. Not even Eli, the computer guy, has ever talked about Moo. Does he know that we have Moo? You talk about spyware. Have you heard of Moo? Boo. Ah, man. I mean, have you tried to do anything on the latest and greatest Windows 11? You can't. You can't, because you try to install, like, what's that stupid system that they have installed by default? I think it's called, there's Bing that nobody wants to use. And then there's the other thing, the other web browser that's comes out of the box with Windows. I won't mention it because I may get in trouble. But that one also comes out of the thing, and you can't uninstall it. You can try, but it's not possible to uninstall it unless you jailbreak the system. And even when you jailbreak the system, don't tell anybody because I've tried, the system will reinstall what you jailbroke. So even though you may have jailbroken it, when you reboot, the AI repencils it in. Just like, can you imagine, like, you have the interview from hell or whatever, the one thing that you want to do that you don't want to do, and you tell your secretary. In the old days you could call them secretary. I think nowadays it's the correct term is administrator or admin. But you're like, no, tell them that I'm in a meeting or whatever, and you've forgotten her birthday like 3 times in a row, or whatever else, and you really ticked her off. So then she just makes sure that you accidentally end up in the meeting that you're not supposed to have. Yeah. That's what it's like using Windows these days. Because as I said before, you may not think about this, but you've got Copilot spying on every time you click a button on your computer. It is sending that through iCloud to Microsoft. So you are spied in every possible way, and that's why your system is so slow. I remember Clippy, just like Eli the computer guy remembers Clippy. But Copilot and Cortana are so much worse. And let's not mention Moo. Moo, as I said before, have you heard of Moo? Moo. Oh man, don't install Windows 11. Windows 11 is not even 6.7. 6.7, stupid. It's way beyond that. So anyway, guys, did you notice how much bigger and stronger than Mike Mentzer's arm I am? It's amazing. But you know he's got 2. He's got 2 of those. I feel rage. It's diabolical. Take care, guys. Bye.